Hey, what's up, everybody? Good evening and happy Monday. So I'm hopping on today in honor of Spiritual Love Week, and there are a couple different things that I wanted to talk about today. So Savvy's here with me. Hopefully we will get through this without any incidents or meltdowns, but you know, with a toddler, you never know how things are going to go. So today is actually Freedom to Marry Day, and I thought that was a really great subject to discuss for a couple of different reasons. In some countries, some areas of the world, women still do not have the right to choose who they marry. Some women are subjected to abuse that is legal and accepted. I just saw something earlier today about how now in Russia, domestic or violence within the family is okay. It's thought of as loving punishment, and that's something that I think it breaks my heart to see that. So to be in a place where we do have the right to say yes, the right to say no, that's very important. All not that long ago, it was illegal for, people of different races to marry. Hi, Jamie. Thank you for joining me. So not only was interracial dating an issue, but then we have like same-sex relationships. We have, different relationship structures now, such as like, and I can't think of the term, it just left me. But, there are different types of relationships, and I think it's just important to realize that love is not the same for everybody. So maybe you're not into polygamy, but some people are. It works for their social structure. I just saw something in a country where it was common for women to have more than one husband. Oh my God, what country was that? And a lot of women were like, yes, I'm all about that, right? And it's not, I think it was in the Himalayas actually, and it's unheard of, right? Most of what we hear is like a man with a whole harem of women, or the man with many wives. But, to hear of a woman who has multiple husbands, people still are so uncomfortable with women owning our power, owning our sensuality, being the head of the home, and standing in our essence and in our power, right? So I thought that was just interesting to, really think about that. And I like how, a lot of walls are being broken down when we think about relationships. It's no longer like a one-sided thing. And also, it brings to mind too the story of Emmett Till, and it's Black History Month, and that was always a story that stayed with me, and I can never get the image of, his body and the power and strength that it took for his mother to see him that way, and to have, and to, have his funeral with an open casket to show like the injustice, and just for, being accused of looking at a white woman, or I think it was whistling, but, it's just to be in a place where, it was not that long ago is what I'm basically saying. And we still have a long way to go as far as really accepting people, different gender roles, different types of sexuality, different relationship structures. So on this day, with the, under the unofficial holiday Freedom to Marry Day, I just wanted to ask everyone to just be a little more open-minded and respectful about, people's relationship choices, especially where, some women don't have that still. They still don't have respect for, their body, their thoughts, and even their lives. And I think that is tragic. It is tragic. The whole Me Too movement also just really brought more attention and light onto women being able to be free, like, be able to show up how she wants, wear your hair the way you want, wear the clothing that you want, and, be able to be safe in who you are without having a man or someone, attack you in any way or come at you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. So it's really about everyone. Thank you, Divine. Hi. you know, being respectful of people and really shifting how we're looking at each other as individuals in the world. So I think it's a really beautiful thing. And it really just touches on your right to choose. And I wanted to share a brief story, right? Because I'm a single mom. My oldest daughter is 15, and I now have a soon-to-be 3-year-old. So me being an unmarried single mom, for some people, is just really hard to grasp. And my oldest daughter, her father was abusive. So I left that relationship, and I remember him asking me to marry him. And it was such a hard, well, I can't say that it was a hard decision, but I just knew that saying no in that moment was going to shift everything. So hell came afterwards, but I had to say no. With all the promises to go to therapy, to get counseling, to do this, to do that, it was like, I could not live that way. You know, I felt like I was signing a death sentence if I were to say yes. And I struggled with that for a while, because now, you know, I had the scarlet letter on my chest, and here I was, you know, a single mom. I'm not married. Dealing with all of this stuff, right? Being abused, trying to, you know, balance things out. It was hard. And as much as it would have been great to, you know, keep my family together, I had to choose myself in order to be completely happy and to feel safe and not have to be in a state where I felt like I had to walk on eggshells all the time. You know, I wanted to live, and the only way for me to live was to completely get out of that situation. So imagine if, like, I did not have that choice to say yes or to say no. Like, I could not imagine where I would be today. And I don't think anything would have changed had we gotten married. And it's unfortunate because a lot of women feel that they have to stay in situations for the support. And I didn't have a whole lot of support. So it's like I just, you know, was just out there trying to figure things out on my own, which is truly unfortunate. And I hate to see women feel like they're backed into a corner because they don't have the financial resources or the familial support or whatever it is in order to live a life where they feel safe and happy. So I just wanted to touch on that and just put that out there. Like, you know, we do have a right. We have a right to choose. And realizing that really starts with owning who we are, accepting our power, knowing what we stand for, what we don't stand for. So I think that's really important also. So I talked a little bit about different types of relationships, right? And being able to respect other people's relationships comes from a place of open-mindedness and realizing that everyone does not have the same perspective as you. Everyone does not have, you know, we were all raised differently from different backgrounds, and that's what makes us all unique. And it's funny because the card that I pulled, and I don't have my deck with me, but for the week yesterday, it was Moldavite, and that was talking about being unique. Absolutely, that's right, that's right. And relationships are just as varied and unique as we all are, because everyone has different needs within a relationship. So you might see a couple and you're like, oh my God, like, why are they together? Instead of passing judgment, like, why can't we just look at that like, wow, those two people love each other. It's so beautiful to see two people from two, you know, different cultures. It's so beautiful to see people loving each other versus fighting all the time, right? So it's just a matter of like our perspective and being a little open-minded to the things that we don't understand, because love is different for everyone. What I need in a love relationship is going to be different from what you need. And the only way to discover that is to know who you are and really know what it is that you want in a relationship. So when you think about love, you have to think about, like, what does love mean to you? And love does not stop at just like being in a romantic relationship. A lot of times around Valentine's Day, we get hung up because, oh my God, I'm single, I'm not married, I don't even have anybody to date. Like, which dating app do I use? All my girlfriends got a man, I don't have any kids, I do have kids. Like, it's just so much. But love is inclusive. It doesn't stop because you're single. It doesn't stop because you're a single mom. It doesn't stop because you are a single man. love is inclusive of everyone, and it's right here. It's in your heart center. It is in your every breath. It is in every day that you have. And it's like so many different things have happened to where love has been reduced down to lust. It's misunderstood, and I really want to get away from that. And one of the reasons why I call myself a spiritual love coach versus just a love coach or a relationship coach is because in the past, there have been plenty of men who said they loved me, right? My ex, I was in an abusive relationship with a man who said that he loved me. I've dated men after him who have said they love me and they've hurt me in some way or took advantage of me in some way. And I didn't want that kind of love. I wanted a divine love. I wanted a deep love. I wanted the love that God created for me, right? My soulmate. So I said, I don't want to be just a love coach. I want to work on a deeper level, because what people are sharing as love and the things that people are doing in the name of love, it's not love, because love does not hurt. Love does not leave you with physical bruises, mental bruises. It doesn't leave bruises. It does not take from you so much that you don't have anything else to give. And that is what spiritual love is all about. It's about having a deep connection, whether it's with your friends, with your family, with yourself, in a romantic relationship. It's about like that pure connection. It's not about sex. It's not about what you can get out of somebody. It's not about, oh, well, they look good or we look good together, so let's just do it for the gram. Like, no, this is something deeper. It's deeper than a piece of paper. It is actually true connection and meaningful, where you are valued and respected and feel that sense of belonging and connection with someone else. So it sounds like it might be a little too much for some people, like maybe, oh, that doesn't exist, love isn't real. It does, but we're so used to that struggle love or that lust that we aren't aware. So we keep settling for the same crap. And I see it all the time, and I was there before, where like you just keep settling for this guy because, well, okay, well, at least he's not abusing me, so I'm just going to stay here. This is kind of comfortable. I'm kind of used to it. And even where like women are like, well, all men cheat, so I'll just stay with this man. Yeah, he cheats on me, but at least he's a good provider, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And no, that's not love. There are men in this world who will not cheat, who will be loyal. There are women in this world the same way who will be loyal and faithful. But you have to stop accepting the things that are not loving. And that starts with knowing what love is. Many of us might not have grown up with the most loving environments. Hurt people. So if you came from a family dealing with hurt or some sort of trauma, then they raised you in the way of hurt instead of necessarily in love. So we just keep this cycle of hurt and abuse and pain and neglect and fear versus love, because there's no healing. So me as a single mom, I have 2 girls. I don't want either one of them to be in an abusive relationship. I don't want them to deal with sexual abuse of any kind. So in order to stop the cycle, I have to be the change. And by healing myself, I can heal generations, and I can stop the cycle of lack, of fear, of struggle, because that's not what love is. And that's one of the things that I seek to do with the coaching and healing work that I do. It's all about transforming pain into love. So that's a little bit about like what spiritual love is, and really making sure that you know what love means to you. If you are in a relationship, make sure that it's fulfilling you on, you know, all the different levels that you need. And if it's not, ask yourself, are you settling? Are you making the right choices for you? Or are you making choices because that's what other people expect? Or making choices out of fear because you fear being alone? So it's really important to know what love is to you, because again, it is different. And let's say if there's something that you don't understand about relationships, right? Like maybe you see something about polygamy and it just turns you off, and you're like, oh my God, like how can people do this? read about it, educate yourself, and try to understand like different people's mindsets. And I think that's one of the great things about me, is that I am able to kind of look outside the box, think outside the box, and see things from other people's perspectives. And it's really about being mindful of like where your thoughts are coming from, and being aware of that, and being able to expand your mind outside of your world and what's comfortable to you. There are a lot of things in the world that I don't necessarily like, but it doesn't make me feel any certain kind of way, because I can stand in disagreement but also have space for freedom, right? So that people can be who they are. Like for instance, being in an abusive relationship, I didn't agree with it. I did not sign up for it. You know, that's not what I was like, okay, on my life goals list, be an abusive relationship. You know, that wasn't something that I planned on. But also, you know, looking back now, I can see where there was stress, right? There was stress, there was fear from him. And so I can understand why he acted that way in those moments. And being able to look back and say, okay, wow, so this is why this happened. And yeah, at the time he was a monster, but now I can see, wow, he was a scared little boy. He didn't know what to do. And instead of, you know, talking on his emotions, hi, Amy, thank you for watching, you know, he handled things in the wrong way. And it took a lot for me to get to that place where I could look back and see him as, you know, the person that I knew before all of that had happened. But, you know, that comes with healing, and that, like I said, it did take some time, but it's just being able to shift my perspective on different things. And with, you know, Freedom to Marry Day, that's one of the things that I was really thinking about today, is like the freedom that we have in choosing the people that we bring into our lives, bringing the type of relationships that we want, being able to say no, like I don't really want these type of people in my life because that's not the type of energy that I want. So it's really about you being able to freely express what it is that you want for yourself, and to have the courage to invite in the people that you want to create the world that you desire. And then also I wanted to talk about, the darker side of love. So where there is light, there is also darkness. We can't have, we need everything to be balanced. If I had not gone through such traumatic things in my relationships, then I would not know what it feels like to be loved. I wouldn't know how to appreciate love and healing and the lessons that all of that taught me. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about also. So we get into relationships and it might not go well, and it could be a friendship, whatever type of relationship, but being able to handle the good with the bad. So we have people, sometimes they're in relationships, one bad thing will happen and then everybody throws their hands up and they hate each other and they're at each other's throat, and it's just terrible when we need to have better coping skills when conflict arises, right? And the same thing, like, I was just talking about how looking back, I could see like where there was fear and not knowing how to handle the stress and fear of being in a relationship can lead to things like abuse. So knowing how to handle those things, being aware of like red flags, things that, you should look out for, and then having like a plan, like when things go south, what are we going to do? And that's important as well, like especially before you start dating, or if you are in a relationship, like really having a plan. A lot of times we plan for everything else. We plan for like our perfect career, our job interview, what we're going to wear. But a lot of times we don't plan for our relationships, and we kind of just jump in with like no plan, no roadmap. We just kind of see where it goes. And that's why sometimes 3, 4, 5, 10 years later, we are stuck or in this rut, and it's not healthy, like there's no growth. So having a plan and realizing that there is a shadow side to love, but it's also there to teach you. So if we can learn the lessons from the pain or the heartache, that will help you to not only keep your heart open to love deeper and to make better choices in your relationships. I think that's really, really important. And when I also talk about like self-love, I think it's important to realize that it's not always just about like, you know, manicure, pedicure days, having brunch with the girls. It's really about taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and I also like to include the financial component. Finances are a very big part of our life. It's a key reason why there can be conflict within relationships. And if your finances aren't right, you're going to struggle in different areas of your life. Like, how are you going to, you know, take care of your shelter? If you don't have that, you're going to be super stressed out. So finances are a really big part of self-care. I think that often gets overlooked. And when you can integrate that into your daily life, like Jamie, who's watching, she does Black Mom's Guide to Calm, teaching like meditation and yoga. Like, it doesn't have to be a whole, you know, hour-long, you know, self-care session. Even if it's just 5 minutes of deep breathing, you have to start finding a way to integrate love into your life. If you are wanting to find a relationship or wanting to like better your relationship, but you aren't taking time to appreciate or create space for loving yourself, it's going to be challenging to get other people to create that space for you as well. Our relationships are a mirror of us, and that can be one of the hardest things to like admit. Hey Tasha, thank you for hopping on. But they are a mirror of us. And in order for us to get the love that we need from other people, we have to set those standards and those boundaries for ourselves by knowing what we want, showing ourselves love and respect, because then other people around you will be like, okay, I can't treat her any kind of way because she clearly, you know, has a love and respect for herself. So that's really important, is integrating love into your everyday life. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you want to, I do offer readings, $50 for a 30-minute reading using angel tarot cards. Also have a ton of other tarot decks as well. And I can put the link here for you, so if you want to check that out. And it's also under the services on my page. But I'm going to go hop into the Spiritual Love Circle, which is my digital sister circle. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can integrate our life with love a little bit every day, because it's very important to stay well. You know, our overall wellness requires us to be happy, healthy, whole, and complete. And if you're relying on other people to make you feel that way, you can find yourself in a very bad situation, because it has to come from within first. So I always like to say that your most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself, because that encompasses your spirit. When you are seeking to build relationship with yourself, that kind of, it's like just a natural way for you to connect with source or with God, or, you know, however you choose to call your, you know, your spiritual beliefs. But if you don't care about yourself enough to make time, then a lot of people don't have that spiritual connection that is so important. So we're going to talk about integrating life with love in the Spiritual Love Circle, and I hope that you join me there. Thank you all so much for catching me live during Spiritual Love Week. I will be sharing more information on love and life. Let me look at my calendars. So tomorrow I'll be live talking about recognizing red flags in relationships. Also some creative ways to feel love and celebrate Valentine's Day for singles. I am actually, on Wednesday, since that's Valentine's Day, I'm going to be going out to lunch to one of my favorite restaurants and just kind of having lunch with you all. So I think that'll be exciting. And then I'm also going to share throughout the week about essential oils to help with love, love or lust, dealing with heartache, and things like that. So a lot more great information is coming your way during Spiritual Love Week. So make sure you click like so you get the notifications when I am live. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.